At some point today, your heart will beat around 100,000 times. Your lungs will expand and contract without you asking. Your brain will fire 86 billion neurons processing light, sound, memory, and meaning all at once. You don't think about any of this. It simply happens, and then one day, it stops. But here is what nobody tells you. The moment your heart stops is not the moment your brain stops. Not even close. In the minutes after your heart gives out, your brain doesn't go quiet. It explodes. In 2023, researchers monitoring patients in cardiac arrest captured something that stopped the scientific community cold. The moment the heart stopped, the brain didn't fade. It surged. A massive wave of gamma activity, the highest frequency your brain ever produces, tore through the dying mind. The same brain waves that appear during your most vivid dreams, during your most intense memories, during the moments in life when you feel most alive. The brain, completely cut off from blood and oxygen, lit up like a city losing power for the very last time. This wasn't random noise. It was organized, structured. It looked, to every instrument measuring it, like a moment of extraordinary conscious experience. The scientists who found it didn't have an easy explanation because there isn't one. So what is actually happening inside a dying brain? Your brain runs on a terrifyingly short supply of energy. It makes up just 2% of your body weight and burns through 20% of everything you eat just to keep itself running. It is the most expensive organ you own, and it operates on almost no reserve. The moment your heart stops pumping oxygenated blood, your brain has roughly 20 to 40 seconds of usable fuel left. That reserve disappears fast. Within about 20 seconds, you lose consciousness. Within a minute, the electrical signals your neurons use to communicate start breaking down. Your body begins its shutdown sequence, system by system, in a precise and ancient order. But breaking down is not the same as stopping. When the brain is cut off from its blood supply, something strange begins happening at the cellular level. Neurons, the cells responsible for every thought you have ever had, every face you have ever recognized, every word you have ever spoken, begin firing in ways they normally never would. The careful regulation that keeps your brain balanced collapses, and in that collapse, something unexpected happens. A wave of electrical activity tears across the entire brain, every region, all at once. The visual cortex, the part of your brain that processes everything you see, lights up brighter than it does when your eyes are open. The regions tied to long-term memory activate with unusual intensity. The areas responsible for self-awareness and conscious experience fire in synchronized patterns that scientists typically only observe during the most extreme and meaningful moments a human being can have. The dying brain is not shutting down quietly. It is going out at full volume. And this is where it gets deeply personal. Your memories are not stored in one place in your brain. They are not filed away in a neat archive somewhere behind your eyes. They are scattered, distributed across billions of neurons, each one holding a tiny fragment of something that happened to you, a voice, a smell, the specific quality of light on a particular afternoon, the feeling of a moment that changed you even if you never told anyone it did. These fragments are normally retrieved one at a time. A thought triggers a memory, a smell pulls up a face, a song returns you to a specific evening years ago. But when the dying brain triggers that final electrical surge, the fragments don't come back one by one. They all fire at once. Every version of yourself you have ever been, every person you have ever loved or lost, every place that ever made you feel safe, every conversation you replayed 1,000 times, every regret and every moment of pure joy, activating simultaneously across a network built over an entire lifetime. In a fraction of a second, this is almost certainly what lies behind the experiences people describe when they are brought back from the edge of death, the tunnel of light, the sensation of watching your life play back in front of you, the overwhelming and inexplicable feeling of peace and clarity that survivors consistently report across different cultures, different ages, different beliefs. Not a supernatural event, not a hallucination in the traditional sense. The last performance of a brain running at full power for the final time. The 7-minute window you may have heard about comes from medicine rather than pure neuroscience. It is roughly the point at which brain damage from oxygen deprivation becomes irreversible, and when emergency teams make the difficult decision to stop trying to bring someone back. But some researchers now believe that meaningful, organized brain activity continues even beyond that window in forms our current instruments are only beginning to detect, which forces a question that science has not yet been able to answer. If your brain can produce conscious, organized, experience-like activity after your heart has stopped, after a doctor has looked at a clock and called the time of death, then what exactly is death? The legal and medical definition points to the heart. The brain appears to disagree. Where exactly is the line? And who gets to draw it? These are not comfortable questions, but they are real ones. And the fact that we are only now beginning to have the instruments to ask them properly says something important about how little we actually understand about the mind we carry everywhere. You spend your entire life filling your brain, every conversation that mattered, every mistake that taught you something, every face that changed who you are, every place that felt like home, even if only for a moment, everything you meant to say and didn't, every quiet moment you didn't realize you were memorizing while it was happening. It turns out your brain keeps all of it. And according to the science, in those final minutes after everything else is stopped, it plays it all back. Not as a goodbye, as one last attempt to understand, because that is what your brain has done every single day of your life without you ever thinking about it. It tries to make sense of everything right up until the very end.